In our last period, we had seen the reflection by a plane mirror. We had found that the object distance is always equal to the image distance. The image is virtual, erect, and of the same size. However, it is laterally inverted. We are not going to go in greater detail about it because today we are going to learn about curve mirrors. Let us imagine taking a glass hollow sphere The entire sphere is hollow and made up of thin glass. We take this part and polish it inside. So that the outer side becomes shiny, and we take this part and polish the inner side so that and polish the outer side so that the inner side becomes reflected. When the outer surface is reflective, it is called convex mirror. Abbreviated as capital C subscript X, and when the inner side is reflective, it is called concave mirror and is abbreviated as capital C subscript V. Now if we look at the entire sphere, then the center of the sphere will be somewhere here. This center of the sphere of which the mirror is a part, center of the sphere of which the mirror is a part is called the center of curvature. These mirrors, when we look from the side, would appear to be curved, but when we look at it from the top, they would appear like a disc, and the shiny surface will be facing us. If we draw, because it is curved, if we draw these lines on it, we will find that they intersect at a point on the shiny surface. This particular point on this mirror will be somewhere here, and on this mirror it will be somewhere here. This point is called the pole of the mirror and is symbolized by capital P. The distance between the pole and the center of curvature is called the radius of curvature, and is usually denoted by capital C alone. So we have the center of the sphere of which the mirror is a part as center of curvature, the center of the shiny surface as pole, the distance between the pole and the center of curvature as radius of curvature. Now we come to one more terminology in curved mirrors. Let us take a concave mirror to begin with. We will have the pole somewhere here, the center of curvature somewhere here, and the line, and remember line has no endpoints, so the imaginary line connecting the pole with the center of curvature is now called the principal axis. The imaginary line connecting the pole and the center of curvature is called the principal axis. Now if we throw some rays which are parallel to the principal axis onto the shiny surface, they would converge and meet at a point on the principal axis. When parallel rays of light parallel to the principal axis are incident on a concave mirror, they converge and meet at a point on the principal axis. This point is called the principal focus and is denoted by capital F. Remember, principal focus is denoted by capital F. The definition for principal focus in case of convex mirror will be slightly different. We will have a pole somewhere here, the center of curvature somewhere here, and this line will now be the principal axis, and when we make rays parallel to principal axis incident onto a convex mirror, they diverge and go away from each other. They don't meet. However, when we extend them backward, they appear to meet at a point on the principal axis, and that becomes the principal focus of a convex mirror. So how do we define principal focus of a convex mirror? When rays parallel to principal axis are incident on a convex mirror, they diverge and go away from each other. However, on extending backward, they appear to meet on a point on the principal axis, which is now called the principal focus. The distance between the pole and the principal focus is called the focal length. Distance between the pole and the principal focus is called the focal length and is denoted by small f. Whether it is for concave or for convex, the definition remains the same. All you have to remember is that focal length, the distance, is denoted by small f, whereas capital F denotes a point on the principal axis. So we have quite a few terminologies here. Let us enlist them. We have pole, we have center of curvature, we have radius of curvature, we have principal axis, we have principal focus, and we have focal length. Pole denoted by capital P, center of curvature by capital C, the radius of curvature by capital R, no abbreviation for principal axis, for principal focus capital N, and for focal length small n. We have also learned that the object distance is denoted by u, and the image distance is denoted by v. So we have the symbols P, C, R, capital F, small f, u, and v. But we will have to follow some Cartesian signs here. Let me remind you what Cartesian signs are. We know what is a plane, and we know that a plane is usually divided into 4 quadrants by 2 lines which are perpendicular to each other. Here we will have plus x and plus y numbers. Here we will have minus x, minus y, plus y numbers. Here we will have minus x, minus y numbers, and here we will have plus x, minus y numbers. Usually say first quadrant is plus plus, second quadrant is minus plus, third quadrant is minus minus, and the fourth quadrant is plus minus. We will be using the same theory for mirrors. How? First, let us take up concave mirror. And the one thing that we have to remember always is that the distance is always measured from the pole only. Distance is measured from the pole only, and therefore pole will come on the origin 0, 0. Let us take up concave mirrors first. And therefore now this becomes P, and it will have 0, 0. Now because the shiny surface is on this side, we will have to make rays incident in this direction. Suppose we have the object here. Then this object distance u will be measured on the negative side, and therefore it will be minus u. Remember, on this side we have negative x axis. So because we are measuring the distance on the negative x axis, our u side will be negative. Let us continue by making a table. The image will be formed somewhere here. Again, the distance will be measured on the negative side, and therefore v will be negative as well. The center of curvature will be somewhere here, and therefore r will also be negative because we will be measuring towards the negative part of the x-axis, and principal focus will be somewhere here, and therefore the principal focus will also be negative. So for convex mirror, object distance, image distance, radius of curvature and principal focus are all negative. However, image distance can be positive, at least in a particular case, about which we will be learning later. Currently, let us take up the convex mirror now. We will again have the Cartesian plane. And now we require a convex mirror, and therefore the pole will be somewhere here. Again 0, 0. All distances to be measured from the pole. The center of curvature will be somewhere here. Now we will be measuring towards the positive side of x-axis, and therefore for convex mirror we will have the radius of curvature as positive. Principal focus will be somewhere here, and therefore focal length will also be positive. We will be putting the object on this side because this is the reflecting surface, and therefore the object distance u we will be measuring on the negative side of the x-axis. It will be negative, and the image will be formed somewhere here, and therefore v will also be positive. So for concave mirror and convex mirror, we have the Cartesian signs. Why do we require these Cartesian signs? Because there is a relationship between the radius of curvature, principal focus, object distance and image distance, and this relation is called the mirror formula. The mirror formula says 2 upon r is equal to 1 upon f, which is equal to 1 upon b plus 1 upon u. Now this is called the mirror formula. Formula remains the same, but the values should be taken according to the two tables that we have just learned. Formula remains the same, but the values will bear the sign as given in the table. U is negative for both, so U will always be negative. The remaining as per the table. For concave mirror, different positions of the object can give different images at different places. And we will have to draw ray diagrams for these images formed by the concave mirror. First, let us tabulate. All you have to do is remember the first column. And how do we do it? We say object position, image position, type of image, and magnification of image. Remember, when we talk in terms of magnification, it does not only mean it is enlarged, it can even be smaller or diminished. The first column, like I said, you will have to remember. The object position will be at infinity. This is the symbol for infinity. Second, we bring it a little closer and place it beyond C, the center of curvature. We bring it a little more closer to the mirror and put it on the center of curvature. We bring it further close and we put it between F, the principal focus, and C, the center of curvature. And finally, we put it on the principal focus. Now, if you remember this in order, you reverse the order for getting image positions. The last one first on F, the fourth one on the second position between F and C, third on the third on C, second on the fourth beyond C, and the first one as the last at infinity. If you remember the first column, writing the second column is easy. All you have to do is topple it upside down. Now the type. In all 5 cases, the images will be real and inverted. In all 5 cases, the image will be real and inverted. However, for magnification, in the first case, it will be highly diminished. Highly diminished, it will be almost like a small point, very small image. In the second place, it will be small, but just about small. In the third place will be the same size of the object. Here it will become slightly larger, and here it will be highly enlarged. So from very small to same size to slightly bigger to huge. But these are not the only 5 positions for concave mirrors. We also have a 6th position, and that position is between pole and the principal focus. This is the position when the image will be behind the mirror. This image will be virtual and erect, and it will be enlarged. And for this particular 6th position, you may add that whenever the object is between P and F in a concave mirror, the image distance becomes positive. Only here. For all these 5 positions, V remains negative. Only for the 6th position, V becomes positive. So you may add it to the table. And for all this, you will have to draw the ray diagrams. How to draw the ray diagrams? Remember, 3 rays minimum are necessary to draw a ray diagram, out of which one is the principal axis. Other than principal axis, we have 2 more rays which must be drawn in a ray diagram, and out of these 2, one ray must be there every time. Now, which is that ray? So let us understand how to draw ray diagrams. The 3 rays, one principal axis, compulsory. Number 2, ray parallel to principal axis. This also is compulsory. So when we take a concave mirror, remember to polish it every time you draw. If you miss out polishing, all the marks will be deducted. We will have the pole somewhere here, the center of curvature somewhere here, the principal axis. So we have drawn the first compulsory ray, The object will be somewhere, let us put it on C. The incident ray parallel to the principal axis, the second ray drawn. But what happens to this ray after reflection? We have already seen it, that it converges and passes through a point on the principal axis, which is called the principal focus. So the two compulsory rays, principal axis and the ray parallel to principal axis, which after reflection always passes through the principal focus. These two rays are compulsory. For the third ray, we have three options. For the third ray, we have three options. Option number one, ray passing through principal focus. Always remember to polish, never miss out on polishing. Principal focus, center of curvature, principal axis, we put it here, object, and this is the incident ray passing through the principal focus. What will happen to this ray after reflection? It will become parallel to the principal axis. Remember, there is no choice. If the ray is parallel to the principal focus, it has to reflect and pass through the principal focus. If the ray is passing through the principal focus, it has to get reflected and become parallel to the principal axis. No choice. Option number two, ray passing through the center of curvature. We have the mirror, never forget to polish it. We have the pole somewhere here, the center of curvature somewhere here, the principal axis. If we place the object somewhere here, then we can draw a ray passing through the center of curvature. And what will happen to this ray after reflection? It will return along the same path. No choice. If the incident ray is passing through the center of curvature, after reflection, it will go back on the same path. And option number three is ray incident at the pole P. We have the mirror, always remember to polish it. The pole will be somewhere here, the center of curvature somewhere here. The first compulsory ray, principal axis drawn, and now we will have, say, the object here, and we can have a ray incident at P. What will happen to this ray after reflection? It will follow the law of reflection. Angle of incidence will be equal to the angle of reflection. Again, no choice. If the ray is incident on the pole, it will follow the law of reflection, and the angle of incidence will be equal to the angle of reflection. We have to draw one of these three rays as the third ray. First, principal axis. Second, a ray parallel to principal axis. After reflection passes through the principal focus. Ray number 3, either one. And we complete our ray diagram. Let me illustrate you the ray diagram on the third position. We take a concave mirror, polish it. We will have P somewhere here, C somewhere here. The first compulsory ray, the principal axis. Our object, remember, in the third position is on C. The second compulsory ray parallel to the principal axis. No choice. After reflection will pass through the principal focus. And now we draw the third ray anywhere. We can draw ray passing through the focus. After reflection will become parallel to the principal axis and will and because they meet here, we will get an image also. Unfortunately, we are not getting the image, so let us eliminate this ray. We don't want to draw this ray. Why I am doing this? So that you too can use any one of the three and you check out which one is giving us a proper image. The next one, passing through C, we cannot draw. So the only choice left is now incident on the pole. Look, we are getting they intersect each other at this point and we are getting the image exactly here, inverted, real and of the same size, so we can use this ray or we can use and again we are getting image on C, real, inverted and same size. So now we can use any ray that suits us. You don't have to draw both of them. Any one of them will do. So this is how we draw ray diagrams for a concave mirror. For convex mirror, we will be seeing in the next period.